Okay. Hello, and sorry. I'm already just, I don't know. Sorry everybody watching this, but I gotta start. I gotta do this, okay? Like, once we start, it's gonna be alright. 안녕하세요. 전 안녕하세요. 저는 비비입니다. And I'm here today to talk with you. No. 안녕하세요. 저는 비비입니다. And I'm here to tell you something. Very sad news. But I've been learning. I mean, it's not sad. I mean, it's weird news. It's strange news. All of the above. I don't know. But it's news, okay? I've been learning Korean for a week now. And I don't know. Okay, so I already speak a few languages. For example, Hungarian, duh. Then I also speak German. Okay, so let me do this little timeline. Okay, I was born in Hungary, so I speak Hungarian. I'm sorry if the sound is bad. So I speak Hungarian. Okay, great. When I went to first grade, I actually started learning German, and I have been learning German for 12 years. So from the first grade to 12th grade. Then, well. So anyway, so in the first grade, it was like in 2008, I started learning German. Lovely. When I was about like 13, so in 2014, I actually started learning English by myself on Duolingo, and then I started learning English in school in 2016, September-ish. Anyways, and in 2017 March, I started learning French, but I'm better at writing it than speaking it, so leave me alone with that. I haven't really been practicing my French recently, so please don't come at me for that. And okay, this is gonna be okay. Probably you're wondering, what am I doing in the bathroom? Okay, like in the previous video, as I said, I moved, and I'm in the bathroom because I feel like it. Okay, no, I'm not trying to be defensive right now. Okay, so basically, I'm in the bathroom because I really like the way the sound is in here. It feels like I could like sing. I couldn't. It's not gonna sound good. Yeah. Okay. Sorry. Anyways, so I like the sound here. Also, the ground was pretty nice. Little story. I have a total of three. No, I'm the third. I have a total of 2 friends. Both of them are named the same way. I'm not gonna say their names for privacy reasons. One of them has been learning Japanese for a few years. She actually speaks Japanese and understands Japanese. She has been to Japan, like all these lovely things, and now she's learning Japan. Now she's learning Japanese in university, and then the other person just has been a huge fan of K-pop for as long as I can remember, but mainly like 2017. And I was like, well, I need something too, right? I felt so left out with just me learning French, and I was like, no, I don't want to do this. Because, you know, one of them is learning Japanese, the other one is learning Korean. I have to do something. So I was like, Chinese, right? I was wrong. The only thing Duolingo taught me is that you cannot learn Chinese with an app. Or at least I can't. I probably could if I really put myself to it, but since I had no motivation, I couldn't really do it. The only thing I learned was, I'm not even gonna say it because I learned it the wrong way. Anyways, I learned how to say, my name is Ling Ming, and I said it to a person who actually speaks Chinese, and they're like, you said what? They couldn't understand what I was saying. I was like, I was actually saying my name is Ling Ming. They were like, oh, you mean Wo Jiao Ling Ming? Wo Jiao Ling Ming. Wo Jiao Ling Ming. I don't remember how it goes. Anyway, so I learned a few things in Chinese since then. But then I realized, yeah, Chinese is really close to my heart. But recently I've been feeling some type of other way. That some type of other way is that I want to learn another language because, sorry, I cannot say the word language at all, so excuse me. I'm gonna sit closer because this is creepy. Oh, I can see myself. No, I'm sitting back. For a while, I've really felt left out because I only speak a few languages and I couldn't speak them with anyone. I use Hungarian literally every single day, all day. The problem with it is, that's the only thing I use. Apart from Hungarian, I speak a few other languages, but I cannot use them at all. The only reason why I can still speak English is because sometimes I talk to myself, and that's okay. Because I'm practicing a language, okay? I'm not crazy. Yeah, I haven't spoken English to anyone in a very, very long time. When did school finish? I think last time I spoke in English was in June. Boy, well. But yeah, I need to practice my English as well, so hello. I know I need to practice my German too, but I have no one to practice it with, and I don't feel confident enough to just talk to myself in German because that sort of feels like a self-destructive, I don't know, behavior. So I was like, okay, I need to pick up another language. And the thing that happened was I came across this channel called Korean Englishman. And I've already seen a lot of videos from Jolly, but I never really, put two and two together, that they were the same people. I don't know. I'm going really slowly here. Speed run. I want to learn Korean. There you go. Is that a whole thing? And I've been just watching so many of their videos, and then it made me remember like all the times I've seen other videos, like I watched them and I was like, I've already seen this video, and like I get to remember all of these things. And then I also remembered my past with the Korean culture, Korean music, and everything Korean related. For example, the first ever Korean music video I've ever seen wasn't even a Korean music video. It was made by RHBC, and it was that music video. You know what I'm talking about, okay? That's the song. So that was the first thing. That was what introduced me to Korean music. Now, obviously, like, I've been watching him for a lot of years. I know that in 2014 I've already found him, so I've been watching him ever since, but I'm sad he's gone. Can we please get him back? So that was my introduction to Korean stuff, but I never really realized that that was an actual thing. So I was like, yeah, they also mentioned BTS in their BTS video. They actually mentioned BTS as in the group in their BTS behind the scenes video, but I never put it together. The first K-pop idol's name who I've ever got to learn was Jimin. But the thing about him was, so it was that friend who was addicted to K-pop, and she still is. She was obsessed with him in a way that she was like, I'm gonna marry him. And I said, okay, I don't know who you're talking about, but I mean, sure, because he was her background, like wallpaper on the phone and everything, and just I was seeing him all day, every day on her phone. Whenever she did something, Jimin was there, and I was like, okay, cool. I didn't know K-pop things existed. I didn't know who idols were. I thought it was just random Korean person who she was in love with. Apparently not. And for like a solid year, I thought his name was Jimmy. And I had no idea it was Jimin. So whenever she talked about BTS or something, it was like, Jimmy? And she was like, yeah. she wouldn't even correct me, saying Jimmy instead of Jimin. Anyways, off track. RHPC music video, Jimmy. Anyways, time passes by and I find myself watching Korean Englishman videos. I find myself watching K-dramas. I find myself doing so many things, and I realized I kept picking up Korean words, and I kept picking up the language, and so many things I was able to understand from nothing. I realized I've never even learned the language, and I knew what it meant, and I could understand a lot of phrases. That gave me a thought.
Hey, Vsauce, Michael here.
That thought was, I should learn Korean. And that was a week ago. So I moved here on the 31st of August, and I've been living here ever since. And on the same day, I started learning Korean. I have this lovely thing. First, I started learning Korean on Duolingo. And so the reason why I'm not sponsored or anything, and I'm not being held captive by Duolingo or anything. But no, seriously. But the reason why my first thing when learning a language or something is always going to Duolingo is because that's where I learned English. So I sort of trust it, but at the same time I realized it doesn't work with every language. I got lucky with English. So I started writing, the Hangul, and I was like, okay, this is actually not that difficult. I know Hungarian runic writing, and I was able to, connect it in my head. So it's nothing new, really. So anyways, I learned Hangul in very, very quickly. Like in I don't know, a few hours, I was like down with it. But now I'm way faster than I used to be. So, and then I also found that if you don't know every single of the Hangul characters, then you're in trouble with Duolingo because it does not go easy on you in the lessons. So the only thing I used Duolingo for was to learn the Hangul, and that was the entire thing. I found this thing called Drops, which teaches you Korean vocabulary, also many other languages, but I have the Korean specific app. So I was like, okay, let's learn it the way I've never learned a language before, which is using notes. And I wrote bread, bang, I wrote regali, I wrote breakfast, 아침 식사. That's how the woman says it. I wrote fruits, which is 과일, I don't know. I couldn't really write Hangul at that time, so I was like, okay, let's just scribble some stuff. I'm reading that. I was like, you know what? Let's set my phone to Korean. That was trouble. The only thing good was that I remembered where the other settings were, so I was able to set my phone back. But then I discovered Korean 언니. So I was like, let's use that. I wrote up some greetings like 안녕하세요. Did I say that correctly? 안녕하세요. 안녕하세요. So my main problem is that whenever I say something in Korean, I always I don't know if I say it correctly because the only thing that comes to mind is oily, and I cannot get him out of my head. Please help. So that was in 존댓말. This is the first time of me saying this out loud because whenever I learn Korean, I always just whisper it. So I can say it while whispering, but not while actually pronouncing it. So I learned whatever ends with yo or nida. It's always informal, and if it's 반말, then it's not formal, so it's informal. So I learned how to say thank you, which was 감사합니다. If I say it wrongly, please bear with me. I'm cringing too. I learned 네. I learned 아니요. 아니요. I can't do this. 커피 좋아해요. 네, 좋아해요. 네, 맞아요. I can't do this. I learned how to say goodbye, which is just if I'm leaving, it's 안녕히 계세요, and if somebody else is leaving, it's 안녕히 가세요, and if everyone is leaving, it's still 안녕히 가세요. So I got that down. I know how to say excuse me, 실례합니다, or that's not how you say it. I just know how it looks. I learned the most important thing ever. I learned how to say I do not speak Korean. 저 한국말 못해요. I learned how to say I can't speak Korean well. 저 한국말 잘 못해요. Okay. 저 한국말 잘 못해요. I learned how to say I can't speak Korean well for the times I will actually be able to say stuff in Korean, which is 저 한국말 조금 해요. 조금. And then I also learned it's 지금, that's now, and 조금 is little. I learned 도와주세요, which is please help. I learned I don't know this, please help. 이거 몰라요, 도와주세요, because it's very, very important. I learned thank you, 감사합니다, of course. 괜찮아요. 괜찮아? Yeah. 미안합니다 is also there. 미안해요, 미안해, all of those, and 가자. 가자. Chiba. There are a lot of Korean words that sound like Hungarian words, and I just love them. I learned 하지만, I learned 그리고 그랬어. I learned 좋아해. I learned 사랑해. 사랑해 boy. I learned 안아줘. And all those things, and I learned how to sing Blackpink's How You Like That. 보람듯이 무너졌어. 바닥을 두고 저 지에 가지. 괜찮은 시작했다고. 저 높이 두 손을 봐도 따스한 나만이 모습 shine like the sun. Light up the sky. 네 두 눈을 보며 I kiss you goodbye. 새콤이 웃어라고 해줘 내가 이제 너의 하나 둘 셋. I like girl need it all and that's 100. Like a string of pennies and most of it. Come on, give me some like a team on the right to me. So on my back. When I say it back, something like that. Okay. I also learned some words. I also learned some rules on. I just put my hair up. No time has passed. I also learned some rules for reading Hangul because it's really, really important that you can read it. Anyways, I learned a lot of words. For example, verbs. That's very important. Anyways, there's this whole list. I'm not gonna say all of them because this is gonna take us forever. And I learned another few phrases right there. For example, I learned how to count. Please excuse my pronunciation. 하나, 둘. Because when Blackpink counts, it's like 하나, 둘, 셋. But when an app counts, it's 하나, 둘, 셋, 넷. So the way I learned 다섯 and 여섯 is, eo in Hungarian would be eo. But, with the romanization, it's supposed to be o, which is not. So it was like dasöt, for example, that's öt in Hungarian means 5. So dasöt, that's how I remembered it. So it's dasot. And yasat sounds like yas hot. Oh, it's 6. Wow, hot in Hungarian is 6. So, oh wow, that's 6. So yas hot. So it's dasot, yasat, 일곱, 여덟, 여덟, 아홉, 열. And also learned how to count with Sino-Korean, this Sino-Korean way, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I did it. The funny thing is 1, 2, 3, 4 just sounds like 1, 2, and first one is 1, you subtract a letter I, 3, you subtract another letter, sa, and then 4, which means nostril in Hungarian, oryuk. That's how I remembered it, but it's oryuk. But still, anyways. Then I wrote the song, My Fairy Tale is Better Than Your Fairy Tale. That's already up on the channel. And then my list for when I have to move. I learned how to say from lesson 5 from talktomeinkorean.com. A is B. 이에요. 예요. 물이에요. 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 Then I also learned how to say 가방이에요. That is a bag. I also learned to say, I wrote that as coffee. Anyways, I translated it in my head. 커피예요. Do not get it confused with coffee because that's nosebleed. 사무실이에요. 학교예요. 학생입니다. 저 학생이에요. Phoebe. If I'm Hungarian and know how to pronounce my name, do I say it with a Korean pronunciation or do I say it with my own? Anyways, Vivi. 학생이에요. 저예요. 저이 in Hungarian actually means like a slang for girl. But anyways, so yeah, it is technically accurate. 뭐? 뭐예요? The reason why I keep saying it like that was because in the podcast she was like 뭐예요? And we're like, you want to fight me? Anyways, This recording is going on very, very long. Anyways, I learned how to say 이거, and I remembered 이거 몰라요 is I don't know that. 이거, that. Check is book, so 이거 책이에요 is that's a book. 이거 뭐예요? I was saying 뭐예요 because in Hungarian we don't have what. So anyways, we don't have that sound, so it's really fun to say 뭐예요. Then I learned, what is that? Anyways, then I went over 11, nice. Lesson 7. And I learned a lot of things. For example, 사람. And I learned which is this and that, depending on where it is for everybody. So for example, 저, 그, 이, 아니에요. Azt is megtanultam. Most még beszélek magyarul. Anyways, most things I've learned actually a lot of things from the Jolly channel, which meant Ollie just failing to learn Korean for 5 years, but him always just correcting everything, being like, 이거 몰라요. 네. 이거 물이에요. 커피 아니에요. Always just 아니에요. That's the only thing I learned from him. No, that's not. 저 아니에요. 우유 아니에요. The only 2 words Duolingo taught me in Korean was 아이 우유. So that's the only thing I learned. 우유 물 아니에요. 이거 우유 아니에요. 저 학생 아니에요. Wrong. 저 학생이에요. Anyways, and then I wrote the lyrics for Dum Dum and also Cry For Me. Okay, I learned how to apologize. For example, 죄송합니다. 저기요. 잠시만요. 잠깐만요. So the weird thing about Hungarian is it has double letters and it has all those things, but it's never in the front. So that's I can say them, but my brain just goes for the next consonant that I have to say. So I learned 는, 이, 가, 미. 저는 비비입니다. 비비입니다. 비비. That's what I heard my name is. Anyways, I'm Vivi. Anyways, bye. 저는 비비입니다. 내일은 저는 일해요. 이거 가방이에요. 이거는 사과예요. 오늘 날씨 좋네요. fogamon nincs. I learned how to say I don't have or it doesn't exist. 있어요, 없어요. For example, the thing I've learned from Ollie was 필요 없어요. 필요 없어요. 필요 없어요. 없어요. 필요 없어요. 필요 없어요. For example, 물 있어요. Or 친구 있어요. 친구 없어요. 친구 없어요. For example, I learned how to say I have or do you have or I don't have or do you not have or you don't have, which I just said with a few other examples. I just wanted to get it going because we're only at lesson 11. I still have quite a few more that I have done. For example, I've learned how to say stuff about food. For example, 맛 is taste. So 맛있어요 is delicious, or 맛없어요. 맛없어요 is that tastes bad. 맛없어요. 이 차 맛없어요. 맛없어요. What do you say before a meal? 잘 먹었습니다. 잘 먹었습니다. And if you have eaten well, it is 잘 먹었습니다. And you can say I want to, which is go 싶어요. So if I say I want to go, it's 가고 싶어요. 보고 싶어요. 먹고 싶어요, which is true. No, I have eaten so much today. I don't want to do that. But you can ask, 뭐 먹고 싶어요? 해? 야, 뭐 먹고 싶어요? You shouldn't point. That's rude. 뭐 먹고 싶어요? 햄버거 먹고 싶어요. 햄버거. I love that. 햄버거. 더 is more. 하다 is to do. 사다 is to buy. Please tell me I said it with one S because I don't want to say it with two. So for example, I want to do is 하고 싶어요. I want to see is 보고 싶어요. I want to eat is 먹고 싶어요. I want to buy 사고 싶어요. I want to drink 마시고 싶어요. There are, simple conversations. Okay, there are the numbers and all of that. I can say so many numbers. I can also put them together because I'm smart. I started learning present tense. Conjugation. 오아. So for example, I can say 가요. I can also say 먹어요. I can also say 뭐요. I can also say 보여요. I can also say 해요. I can also use past tense. I can't speak English anymore. Please forgive me. 했어요. 먹었어요. I ate. The funny thing is, 잡다, it means to catch. But in Hungarian, 잡다 means a trap. So basically to catch it, to trap it is similar. So 잡다 in Korean and 잡다 in Hungarian. But 잡다 is the trap, so it's not trapping something, but it's the trap in Hungarian. Anyways, so that was just a fun thing. 놀았어요. 빨았어요. I also learned, so the last lesson I did was lesson 18. And that's all I could fit into the week because I also go to school, so please excuse me. I learned location marking particles. For example, 어디. Like, to go is 가다. To want to is go 싶어요. And if I want to say I want to go, then it's 가고 싶어요. But if I want to ask where do you want to go, it's 어디 가고 싶어요? I also learned, for example, oh, what did I do today? I didn't go to school, but I'm gonna say I went to school. 학교에 갔어요. 학교에 갔어요. Where are you is 어디에 있어요? Oh, I said it correctly. 어디에 있어요? Where are you now? 지금 어디에 있어요? I also learned from and some other stuff. Anyways, that's the only thing I learned in 1 week. 감사합니다 for watching. This feels so little. It feels like I don't know anything. But anyways, I probably shouldn't even post this. But I hope this video doesn't come across as something offensive or anything, because I am aware of what's happening with Oily. What they're doing. I gotta explain to you something. In Hungarian, there is no he, she, or anything. It's u. Yeah, creative, I know. It took me years to get he, she right, and I still get it wrong. So I always want to use they, but I've been taught not to do that because it's mean. So you know that a lot of rules are going side by side and against each other in my head right now. But I just want to tell everybody that the reason why I'm learning Korean isn't just like hop on the trend or just be like K-pop, because it's not K-pop that really brought me there. It was just everything else. K-pop was obviously also part of it because the music is really nice, and I've been dancing with Just Dance for a lot of years, and Blackpink is also there. I also recorded a video where I learned Kill This Love, the dance, the original dance, but I just didn't upload it. Here's a little bit.
해볼래 해 그 따뜻한 떨림이 새빨간 설렘이 마치 해변가 같지만 you might not get in it. Look at me, look at you. 누가 더 아플까?
I really hope I can put the Korean language as my fifth language into the list. And I'll be back next week to tell you what I've learned. Hopefully I'll be at level 2 by then. I should be. Anyways, hopefully if things go right, I'm able to get a teacher. And by teacher, I mean a random person who I've met a few years ago in Hungary. She was an exchange student, and I don't know, we became friends, and I just realized that, whoa, she speaks Korean because she is half Korean. So I was like, hey boy, can you help me learn Korean? She was like, yeah, I would love to. I actually have been, in the past, I have been a teacher, a Korean teacher, so I still have flashcards. How about that? So hopefully I'm able to improve, and my goal is to be able to speak Korean fluently in 3 months. I don't know if that's possible, but if I become fluent before Ollie, and not Ollie, Ollie from Jolly, then my goal is just, no, I'm not trying to compete or anything. I don't even know what to say. Yeah, uploads are gonna be weird and everything, and I hope that I'm not gonna lose subscribers over this, because a lot of people are like going for my music thing, because a lot of people are coming to the channel because of the 39-hour video, and I try to respond as many comments as possible, but today was the point where I decided I am not responding to what's the title of this song comments anymore, because I've responded to over 100 of those, and I'm pretty sure people can look into the comments and find at least one of those answers. So yeah. 안녕히 계세요. Tschüss.